Don't say a word. Just keep walking.
And so, you saw another Nazi, but of course, he won't last very long. He's gonna get fucked like everyone else. But, you know, whatever.
Keep it way in the back with the really rare
And so,
stuff.
after that brief encounter, we ended up saw another Frankenstein monsters, but this time one of them looked like a Big Daddy, but then the other one looks like Hammerhead Frankenstein, which is pretty cool actually. And then oh my fucking god, run, 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 run.
This is where they usually keep it. Uh-oh. No, did somebody buy it? Oh, man! I would have bought it myself, but I just felt
Oh, hey, buddy, how are you?
It was too...
You fucking...
Too... valuable. Like the kind of thing no one man should possess. Yes!
And then, a double twist.
Okay. Are you sure you're ready for this? Because what I hold in my hand is not just gonna blow your mind. It's gonna blow your soul. Go ahead. Open it.
Hey! Oh my goodness. What a week that I went through to end up finally post this dang video. So, for the sake of it, let's talk about a movie that it's kind of been ignored for quite some time. But hold on a moment. Let me just first get all the controversials out of the way. So, if you guys didn't know, Elvis the Alien has declared that he's not going to really make any People Ruin Everything episodes. And if you guys didn't know, People Ruin Everything, the most tainted series on the internet that literally he talks about or show images or people who post all the disgusting things that you can see on the internet through a specific story or pop culture thing, whether through a movie, video game, whatever. So of course, the last episode he did was, of course, Undertale. Holy God, it was so bad. It wasn't like, oh, it was a bad video. No. It was a good video. It's just that, God, there's so much cancer that was in this in the content of Undertale's fandom mentality. It's like, oh my God, that's insane. That's insane to me. Ugh, that's awful. I don't have a problem with him taking his time and focus on other content, because there's nothing really wrong with that. The whole time he's Frankenstein. He wasn't a servant or anyone else. No, he was the Frankenstein, or the son of Frankenstein. And it doesn't help he's actually the son of Frankenstein, not the Frankenstein. So we can see where he's the one that used thunderstorms, but he's a generator. Oh man, I'm like, so that's actually really cool. He creates Frankenstein monster. He creates zombots. This is not okay. So take that, result, Frankenstein. And it kind of makes me sad too, because half of the people, the reason why people keep demanding this so many people crazy everything content, and man, this whole I love this. Down. One of my favorite characters ever in this film is Dr. Frankenstein. He's such a really interesting character. His content is really good. He has so much depth of him that I didn't really realize he has so much had. Although I did, but you know what I mean. Him making hobo with the shotgun. He was such a really. I just love his character a lot. There's so much with it for his character. You know, he's really funny too. But the only reason I ever after you discover that half of all the team, all the rest of the people, your comrades are all dead actually. Just to see besides what people someone what's their reaction. We'll get to that later. And then so Sasha's funny as hell. No, not Sasha. Dima wants to make a deal with Dr. Frankenstein about he could work with the Soviet Union or the Russian government to make the whole world into a superior utopia. You know, that's kind of our deal. The Finance of Freddy's. And of course, Dr. Frankenstein will say, nah, dude. Instead, I want to just I want to kill every people and make them into monsters, and then have everyone think the same way.
If you want to make a people ruin, because the reason why I said that is because
so yeah, we're kind of going through that same old book again.
Oh no. So please, if you're gonna do that, I might as well make the little memes for you here.
What are you giving?
Yeah, and it shows. He's showing Dr. Frankenstein practically torturing everyone, including Sasha. Or not Sasha, even Dima, he eventually knocked him out. Or, he passed out when Polish man was getting, his brain getting ripped apart. And the reason why Dr. Frankenstein is doing this, he's not only doing it to the Nazi, but he's actually doing it to Polish man so he can combine his brain to put them together. So half the, the right brain, the Nazi, left side, the communists, all that stuff. It's just so crazy that because he believes that he could think that by combining two sides of the brains by two different people, make them, will make them stop, then make them understand each other. And so, yeah, it's a bit of an interesting one. So, I don't know. That's a pretty bold statement there. Let's see how that goes. Yeah, not very good. Not very good. Which, and so yeah, and that's basically what we see half of the movie. And so, and then Dima, of course, strapped to on a table, and he's literally gonna combine his camera to his skull. So that's scary. So great. And so, of course, right at the greatest time ever, the Soviet Union came. But the thing is,
the only thing that hasn't been destroyed, or by its fandom mentality, is Frankenstein's army. At least I don't see any fan fictions of it. That's actually really good. I'm actually happy to see that. Which is Frankenstein's army, if you didn't know, is a found footage World War II, or the end of World War II movie. And it's really good because it's actually the most realistic one, or how close to a Frankenstein monsters and all that stuff. But whatever. Anyways, let's get back to this. But the reason why I say realistic, because if you didn't know, unfortunately in the Auschwitz, or the Holocaust, they didn't just kill all the Jewish people where they suffocate them of the chemicals, whatever. They also have tortured and experiment on Jewish people, including making twins to Siamese twins. And so, yeah, there's a lot of fucked up things that the scientists have done, and man, it's pretty horrible. And there's so many inhumane experiments that you'd be surprised. There's a lot. And yeah, so a lot of people really like this film, and so I want to bring this up to speed, because I think it has some meaning behind this film. It's not just a gory, fun action film. I think it has a little more depth to it than we all hear and miss about it. And man, it's actually pretty interesting to think about. But anyways, let's talk about this awesome film, shall we? The film started off with the company's names who helped out produce the film. FYI, directed himself, who literally, he did not just directed the film. No, he practically did everything. He did all the designs of the monsters. I mean, yeah, he didn't necessarily did the practical effects. He had some people that helped him out, but still, that's pretty crazy. He's practically doing everything by himself, basically. And it truly inspired me to do all that. And so I love the behind the scenes where you see how everything all come together. It went so well. But yeah, the let's start off with this character named Dima, who basically is a journalist, yeah, a journalist. You know, like for Full Metal Alchemist, not Full Metal Alchemist, fuck me, Full Metal Jacket. You know that one scene where the drill sergeant's like, yeah, that's basically what it is.
And you gotta be shitting me, Joker. You think you're Mickey Spillane? You think you're some kind of fucking writer?
Yeah, that's basically what it is. And so he's saying how proud he is to Mother Russia, Russia and all that stuff, and it shows the intro of the music and all that stuff, and Patrick, Squidward, and yeah, all SpongeBob meme, haha, me funny. And this is the year that takes 1945, the end of when Hitler died and the end of World War II. And all the or at least a small group of Russian soldiers, are clearing up all what's the remaining Nazis. And so they're heading to the farm, but before they do that, of course we're getting to know of some of these characters. And of course, we see how really cruel these people can be, because at the beginning, we saw these are very kind when they give him that chocolate bar and all that stuff. That's pretty sweet. But then out of fuck nowhere, you clearly see fucking kids getting shot, a mom gonna be violated, and all that stuff. And so it's like, it'd be a perfect meme like this, where it's like Russian people are nice, and then Dr. Frankenstein, of course, has an entire army. So, of course, And so basically, he's grabbing all his bags and stuff, and he's gonna grab his camera. And you see in the background that Sasha is actually alive,
play with a bicycle,
and he actually killed Dr. Frankenstein. But considering it's Dr. Frankenstein, I doubt he's actually really dead. You know what I mean?
In the beginning of the film,
he has he has a plan C
thing.
If you know what I'm saying. Like, there's other ways he could do it.
In the middle of the night, walking through the
trees. He's been around for quite some time. I'm sure he has some other plans up his sleeve. Even he actually died. He can actually make himself to a Frankenstein without even anyone would realize that.
And during
but who knows? We will never see a sequel. That never happens.
This character name,
but probably yes. I'll get to that later. So anyways, after you see Sasha, decapitating Dr. Frankenstein, grabbing his head, and then while you see Polish man or Polish Nazi man,
but instead he's actually
ripping his head and stuff,
the reason
because
he was in,
his two brains are intertwined.
The Russian regime,
and so of course he's gonna kill Dima and eat his face.
He doesn't really specify.
And then in the film it shows Sasha with the Soviet Union medal,
he's here
because that's for killing Dr. Frankenstein.
He doesn't really specify exactly.
But yeah, it was actually a really good film overall. Everything was perfect.
Maybe she's
and especially I love the message behind Dr. Frankenstein, what he said about humanity in general.
So
that everyone is sick. And
because it's kind
that hit me a lot, because in somewhat he's actually pretty right.
And
because, man, 2020 was one of the most worst years ever.
Revealed itself.
But it did open the doorway to how much really toxic all people can be.
The area where
and
they
it's pretty scary.
Where their boys
and
are.
so,
because their mission
and again, also what I bring back to people and everything is also different toxic people too are all intertwining and harassing all these artists. Either way, they're the ones that are not necessarily responsible of these creations.
Hey Eddie,
they're the one who created it, but they want the people who got these ideas. Half the people are actually from Patreon, or people who pay these artists to do all these horrendous stuff.
Anyways, And it's kind of sad. It's kind of artists are kind of like Dr. Frankenstein to some degree, where the Russians and the Nazis are all fighting to force this creator to create a specific thing to appease them. And it's actually really sad. But yeah, all that aside, this was a very good film, and I really like this. A film that everyone should check out. It's a very gory film, and it's a very graphic film, and it's a very, very good film. That its practical effects are amazing with no stupid CGI, and there's never an instant where it just feels like it's stupid. Yeah, everything was just perfect. A lot of people just didn't overlook this film. It's just like a cheesy, bad film. I necessarily don't really disagree with it.
Oh shit! No wonder.
Because it's a really good film. I really liked it. I don't care what people will say to me.
You can't kill nuns because it's bad luck.
But anyways, so I hope you guys really like this video. If you do, like, comment, subscribe. And what I was talking about, what I mean by a sequel, I mean I really want to create a video game based around the Frankenstein's Army movie. But instead, I want to do a game where it's similar to Bioshock, where it's a free roaming game where you fight off a bunch of different types of Frankensteins, and also have some horror elements as well. So it'd be a really cool idea, and maybe have some really good soundtrack, and have some rock and roll soundtrack similar to Doom, because that'd be a pretty interesting idea. But I don't know. It really all depends on the director too, and see what his thoughts are. Because I would really love to see his feedbacks on this video.
Yeah.
So
everything starts to becoming way
let me know. Hit me out, okay? I'd love to hear your feedback on it.
There's not much explanation. It's just
I love you guys very much. You guys are so helpful to me.
But just,
and thank you for over 107 subscribers.
Explained, but
that is really touching for me.
You can easily just piece together what
it really helped me out a lot.
You know what I mean? And it's so perfect. And especially you see Frankenstein
creatures.
Catch
you later, bros.
AKA zombots is what they're called. Basically these retro cybernetic monsters, and they're so fucking cool looking. Each one have a specific function, or each one are just completely different from the last.
You have to have incredible imagination to draw those things and put them all together.
Ja, dat wordt me heel vaak gevraagd. Waarom ga je niet gewoon lekker tekenen? Maar tekenen is voor mij zo vanzelfsprekend dat ik er geen voldoening uit haal. Weet je, er zit geen uitdaging in. Ik gebruik voortdurend dezelfde middelen. Deze zombie is dezelfde als die. Alleen deze heeft de kap van die en een ander masker. Die is dezelfde als die, maar dan met zijn hoofd. Ik maak een paar basisontwerpen en ik zorg ervoor dat ze voortdurend gerecycled kunnen worden. Ik ben trouwens waanzinnig beïnvloed door Star Wars. Ik was vroeger een hele fanatieke Star Wars verzamelaar. En ik heb die poppetjes eindeloos bestudeerd. En ik kwam erachter bijvoorbeeld dat, ja, voor de kennis, de Imperial TIE Fighter is een combinatie van een Rebel X-Wing pilot en een Stormtrooper, maar dan zwart gespoten. En wat ze deden was voortdurend het hergebruiken van pakken en combineren met andere pakken. En ze hadden nieuwe creaties. En daar kwam ik als kind achter door het speelgoed met elkaar te vergelijken. En eigenlijk wat ik nu aan het doen ben, ik maak eigenlijk mijn eigen speelgoed.
It's incredibly obvious.
And they don't even be explained of their origins toward the ending. Anyways, so they went inside of the church, which is kind of like... And then they end up, Dima forcing Sasha to turn on the power, and he's like... Yeah, this thing, I like this thing. An interesting fact that this creature itself is actually a girl. Yeah, they actually hired a female because it makes it more weirder and interesting. But not just a random girl. They have to have a girl that's flat-chested, you know what I mean? because it gives it good mystery and makes it more creepier, just so uncanny. You don't even know if it's a girl or a boy, so it makes it more scarier. But yeah, overall, the actress that played this creature, she had a lot of hard work because she's practically naked half the time, and so she literally had to lay on the ground for hours and hours and put all the practical effects on her for a long time, and she has to wear that for for the rest of the day on the shoot of the film. But man, that was pretty tough for her. But she was a tough cookie. So props to her. So anyways, back to the whole thing. So after the captain was dead, by being so cocky about this creature, he's like, "Oh, I will shoot you," yeah! You know, all that stuff. And so he ended up, and so of course, Poland Man. I know he has a name, but man, I have a hard time remembering names. I'm sorry. And then, of course, this freaking guy just fucking killed him. Which, you know, whatever. You have to put him out of his misery. And so they're trying to fix the radio, and now he realized that. And then, of course, Dima's is like, hey, we gotta search the village properly. Otherwise, the captain would just die for nothing. And yeah, he has a good point. And then, of course, this prick just keep on complaining about, like, oh, who cares about stripes? No one cares. I should be the leader. I should be in charge. Let's see how that. Well, that's a good strategy, boy. Let's see how that played out. Yeah, through half of the movie, this dude is just a complete cockhole. Like, man, but he's a great actor, though. He did a really good job. And yeah, his accent does sometimes slip sometimes through parts of the film, but that's okay. That's really passable. Like, you can tell that he's an Irishman and not a Russian guy just by his little slip-ups, but that's okay. That's perfectly fine. But yeah, overall, it's such a good film. The acting and the characters are really good. They're really well done. And so they end up searching the village, and they end up discover this room filled with animals. Well, specifically just wolves and, of course, rabbits, which, of course, okay. And a sniper dude from Sniper Elite, just sniper this dude's ass. Either way, he was just a random guy just feeding his animals. Or is he? But, of course, Dima was Dima, he was an interviewer. So, of course, he knows all the interviews and stuff. And so, of course, Prick is like... And so, of course, they do the interview. And, of course, he was questioning him about what's happening and stuff. And he replied... Which is kind of a good point, because he's kind of the only one this guy is the only one that actually point out this camera that looks weird. And so that's actually a really interesting point, that the fact that this is not an ordinary camera, and that's why it shows its colors and stuff. That's why this has a microphone in it. Because back in the old days, they don't really have that kind of stuff. They have to do the old-fashioned way. And a lot of people about this, and bitch complain about, oh, this is a high-quality camera. It's not realistic enough. Shut the fuck up. Anyways, it's just silly how a lot of people just are bitching. And so, yeah, I'm actually really happy that they took a different, interesting route, where it's not the stereotypical black and white type film. Yeah, it'd be a lot more interesting approach,
But then again, like, it's a found footage film. It's a movie. It doesn't mean anything. I'm sick of tired of seeing every single film that has to be realistic, that has to be based on a true story, that has to do everything. Films doesn't need to focus on realism. Yeah, like, granted, like, you know, you could focus on realistic, like, you know, certain things, but not everything has to be realistic, though. That's the problem. Like, don't focus on everything on realism. Like, yeah, I mean, there's some certain films I could think of that don't really follow, like, the laws of physics, but you don't have to do it all the way through, where it's just not fun anymore. And that's what I like about this film. It completely reminds us that it's not a real film. It's not real. Stop it. Get some help. But anyways, so after the prick cut this dude's fingers off, and he's like, "I'll take you." And he's like, "Oh, you take me, and then you'll never get rid of me." And of course, they take care of him and all that stuff. And then you could tell this prick is not really a good leader, because you would think they'll go back and all that stuff to Polish man, and they'll go as a group, and so they can able to infiltrate the area and all that stuff. But they didn't, because he's a prick. And so of course they went there, and of course this guy disappeared. While they're going deeper and deeper inside this cave, either way, it should be a wise idea to go back, but whatever. Anyways, and so of course they've been attacked, they've been ambushed by a bunch of Frankenstein or zombots, all that stuff. They're being attacked by a mosquito. They're getting attacked by different creatures. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And so of course, and then one of the soldiers got injured by literally their helmet is getting stuck by a giant teeth creature, Frankenstein creature, that crushed his skull. His helmet is basically it's like stuck into his head now. So great. And so this creature looks really cool because it's armored and stuff, and its helmet, it's like a freaking bear trap looking thing. Of course, it's been blown up and stuff, so whatever. And then after that whole thing, this prick is like saying, "Oh, leave him, let's kill him off. He's dead. He's doomed." And of course, this guy, his helmet got stuck to his face. His literally prick his face, you know, all that stuff. And he's losing a lot of blood. So of course he's like going insane now because of it. And so, whatever. And so after that, Sasha ended up staying guard and stuff. And then Polish man asks Dima, is like, "What's really going on here?" He's like, "I don't know. Probably we stumbled upon a new Nazi weapon."
Sewing dead people together. Giving them knives for hands. It's insane.
Or brilliant.
Anyways, after that really good scene, they end up talking about, we were finally talking about 303. Oh, they're dead. They're fucked. We'll all be here. We'll be hanging out here a lot longer. And an explosion happened, and they end up found more people that's hiding in this place. Of course, they're all Nazis. Well, what's left of them, of course. One, the little kid, not surprising there. And then an old guy, and then yeah, and then this prick trying to rape her. So great. And so of course she discovered that she's a nurse and stuff. And then yeah, she's gonna help his comrade. She didn't do dick. And so you end up see Mosquito Man dropping down, and then killing off Sniper Elite Man. And a huge battle happening. And the demon got kidnapped by a creature that's aka Subway Guy.
And then, of course, Sasha pick up the camera, and explosions happen, and mess up Subway Man. He only has one good arm now, so he lost his foot long, whatever. And then, of course, they running, and so, of course, the camera turn back on, and Sasha's discovered the truth.
Sergey, comrade. Let me explain.
What's going on? Why don't you ask Comrade Dim?
What?
Tell them. Before I blow your fucking brains out.
You don't understand.
Tell them!
No Tiger Bears philosophy.
I don't get it.
It's a radio jammer. I couldn't understand why we are getting no signal before. This is why. Our comrade here was blocking us. Cutting us off from Mother.
I thought he was carrying the fucking thing.
He could use it to transmit the message from his pack to the radio
And leave us here. So there is no Tiger Bear. No Russian soldiers needing our help. Fucking bastards.
Wait, Fisher. Don't kill him yet. First, I want to know why.
We are not going anywhere. Not going anywhere.
The Fritz must know the way. We'll follow him.
That fucking old fascist. You don't understand. We're not leaving. That's an order. An order? We need to cut his balls off. Here. Read this document. I'm a full captain. Your superior officer. I have a list of every man in this squad's family and loved ones. If something happens to me, you know what will happen to them.
Right. Tina. Tell me. Why didn't you just tell us? Huh? Why the trick?
This is a top secret mission. The Bureau was afraid there might be a leak.
So you let us come on with it?
No! You don't know the exact nature of the weapons the doctor was working.
He's not a doctor.
He's a man. My orders to capture him if possible. If not, kill him.
Capture! What is the glorious
Listen! Listen to me! This is none of your business. You do your job, you go home, safe and sound. You understand?
They're even filming the camera.
Yes, the film is real. We need a record of everything just in case we cannot take him alive. Now, Fritz! We're going to the doctor's base and you're taking us there. Which way?
And then, of course, he explained, and of course, after the whole thing, that was a really good scene, by the way. Awesome. And it explains everything now. And so now we head deeper and deeper inside Frankenstein's lair. More Frankensteins we approach. There's more even messed up ones that doesn't have any legs. No point to shoot it. It's useless now. And then of course a little Nazi kid. He's like, "No! Leave me alone, you weirdo!" And then of course, big Chungus is gonna attack all these dudes, and this is gonna be the end of the movie. No, never mind. He got fucked. That's what happened. He doomed. I'm sorry, but some of the kill animations the kills in this film are so funny. Anyways, so after that whole battle with the Big Daddy helicopter dude, I say that name, it sounds so stupid. He ended up, of course, you know, after a little child died. Boy, I really want to see these people getting killed, huh? Moving on. And of course, these guys are just complete assholes. They kind of surprised. They literally just, fucking duck them and then slime off the fucking thing, and where all the bodies are and stuff. And now Dima's fucked at this point, and so Demon has to do this by himself now. And of course, while he's going through a maze of hell filled with zombots everywhere, and so he's recording this last footage, and he's saying how much he loves his parents and stuff. He's gonna miss them, yada yada. And then, of course, the whole atmosphere of the movie is one of my favorites ever. That's one of my favorite things about the movie is the atmosphere. It's so good. It is so amazing. God, it's so good. I wish the soundtrack are available, but the only thing that's there is just, the theme song, whatever. Anyways, and so you saw another Nazi, but of course he won't last very long. He's gonna get fucked like everyone else. But whatever. And so after that brief encounter, we ended up saw.
Is it filming? Yeah, it's good. Eat this. It will make you strong. It's hand up. I'm not hungry. Eat. I need you to be strong. You like it? It's really good. I have added some of my own ingredients. Swallow. Swallow. Swallow.
I can. Someone told the Schumacher about my cats. He asked me if I could do the same with people. So, I used grandfather's snows. His techniques were quite good. He needed thunderstorms, but now I can do it with a generator.
It's fascinating, Vic. Can you explain how you automated receive and follow orders and...
What did you say? They're not machines or puppets.
Sorry,
Neither toys my father built. Each one is still alive. They even need to eat. Oh, hurry up. I feed them with the same I dog I gave you.
Yes.
Oh, fuck you! Fuck you! Here they are. At least one is still alive. Coming. I want to show you something. This is the generator.
See.
Look.
This is genius.
Come with me. Come. I'll show you something else.
Doctor,
What?
listen. Listen! Can't you hear it?
What was that?
It's us. The Red Army. Our artillery.
How far away would you say they are?
15 kilometers. They could be here in a matter of hours.
You telling me this because?
I am here to offer you a deal. Our military leadership is very interested in your work.
Of course. We'll give them a weapon to use against Western allies. To turn the whole world into a socialist utopia, right?
Yes. We understand each other very well.
And if I refuse?
We bomb you and your army back to the Stone Age.
Hey! I told you to film.
Sorry. What are you doing?
You see, I can end the war by creating a new being that brings them together.
Are you serious?
I can make them stop. I can make them understand each other. I'll be right back.
Please. Please. I can't, Serioja. I have to bring him back no matter what.
Dima, don't you understand? He's crazy. Dima, he's insane.
Please, I told you I can't. I promise you this, Serioja. When I return to Moscow, I will personally ensure you are awarded the Hero of the Soviet Union medal. Your sacrifice will not be forgotten.
I swear, I'll kill you. I swear I'll kill you.
As you can see, the two halves of the brain have been drugged together. On the left side, the communist. Here. On the right side, the Nazis. Yeah. It's too much here. Okay. I think... Oh, shit. Shush. Fine. Okay, that's fine.
patient is no longer breathing. Now, for the final step. Yes! It's obviously suffering from a little adjustment problem. I can feel more!
What are you doing?
How that works. I never tried that. How do you breathe? Come on.
Doctor, we had a deal. Listen, we had a deal. Huh? We'll be safe in Russia.
What deal?
Our people for Londoners. Enemies of the state, huh? What about our deal?
I'm afraid I'm going to have to refuse your generous offer.
You're signing your own death warrant. If we don't kill your own people, will you understand that?
Who will say no? I was in a prison camp, remember? But I have other plans.
Don't leave, don't go! Huh?
I'll be leaving momentarily. But there should be time for one last experiment. I can. Come here. Now, what shall we do with you? Maybe I will build this camera into your skull. That might be fun. A man of vision is always misunderstood. But the film in your camera will convince the doctors.
You're insane! I'm not a doctor! You're sick! Oh, you hear me? You're sick!
Everybody's sick. The Nazis, communists, capitalists, everyone. The sickness that cannot be cured. So it must be cut out. And my creations will do that.
Your creations are fucking insanity! Look at them! They're fucking cripples!
My father tried to have me locked up. He said I was emotionally crippled. I had no choice. I injected him with a drug that paralyzed him, but his eyes could still move, so he could watch his eyes. What was that?
That is the beginning of the carp bombardment.
I will not have time for you after all. Wait.
That is my comrades coming to wipe you off the face of this planet. I will make it better. Anything. Tell me what to do. I'll guarantee.
Okay. I'm afraid after I go, my soldiers may become a bit crazy.
What are you talking about?
They obey only me, and I cannot take them with me. So after I go, they will turn up against each other, and anything else they find is gone. I would love to tell you more, but I've got to go. So good luck, comrade. The film.
Brains are intertwined. And so, of course, he's going to kill Dima, ate his face. And the end of the film, it shows Sasha with the Soviet Union medal because, that's for killing Dr. Frankenstein. But, yeah, it was actually a really good film overall. Everything was perfect. And especially I love the message behind Dr. Frankenstein, what he said about humanity in general, that everyone is sick. And that hit me a lot because in somewhat, he's actually pretty right. Because, man, 2020 was one of the most worst years ever. But it did open the doorway to how much really toxic all people can be. And it's pretty scary. And so, and again, also what I bring back to People Ruin Everything is also different toxic people too are all intertwining and harassing all these artists. Either way, they're the ones that are not necessarily responsible of these creations. I mean, yeah, they're the one who created it, but they want the people who got these ideas. Half of the people are actually from Patreons or people who pay these artists to do all these horrendous stuff. And it's kind of sad. It's kind of artists are kind of like Dr. Frankenstein to some degree, where the Russians and the Nazis are all fighting to force this creator to create a specific thing to appease them. And it's kind of actually really sad. But yeah, all that aside, this was a very good film, and I really like this, and a film that everyone should check out. It's a very gory film, and it's a very graphic film, and it's a very, very good film. That its practical effects are amazing with no stupid CGI, and there's never an